Next, we are going to look at beam subjected to constant bending moment M. When I am talking about constant bending moment, you can see that there is a cantilever beam and it is subjected to constant bending moment M here. Instead of representing force, we are directly representing with constant bending moment. This type of symbol represents constant bending moment, or also called as pure bending moment. Now how we get this symbol is, see, if I consider the same beam here, and to this beam if I consider one lever in vertical direction, suppose this, which I am showing it with cursor, this is a lever, okay, it is a vertical lever, and to this lever I am applying a load in right side direction at top end, and to this lever I am applying a force in left side direction at the bottom end. Because of this, what happens is there is a force at the top and there is a force at the bottom. Because of this, what it will do is it will try to bend the beam in clockwise direction like this, because you are pulling to right here and you are pulling to left here. Okay, so because of this, clockwise movement is applied onto the beam, and because of that, this clockwise movement, what it will do is it will bend the beam in downward direction. Because look here, when I'm pulling it right and when I'm pulling it left, so obviously if you can imagine it, beam is going to bend down. Okay, it is going to bend down like this. Now this type of loading is called as constant bending moment loading, because the bending moment is same throughout the length of the beam, it is not going to change. Then next thing you need to remember here is there will not be any shear force induced in this beam. Why there won't be shear force? Because shear force is induced in the beam only when the force is applied in vertically downward direction or vertically upward direction. But instead of that, we are applying moment. Okay, this moment, when we apply, there will only be constant bending moment. Constant bending moment in the sense the same moment is applied throughout the length. If you look at this bending moment diagram, this is a zero line that which represents zero bending moment, and since it is bending the beam downward direction, if I take this as a cross section, okay, with respect to this cross section the beam is bending downward. When the beam is bending downward, then the bending moment is negative, so we are taking the bending moment in downward direction, and the value of bending moment is going to remain constant, that is minus m, which we are applying here. So this, once we reach m in downward direction, then the line will be horizontal, because it is not going to increase, neither it is going to decrease, it is going to remain constant throughout the length. If you look at shear force will be 0, so it is just a straight line. Such type of bending moment is called as constant bending moment, or also called as pure bending moment. Pure bending moment because there is only bending moment and shear force is 0. This assumption which we are going to use it in our further classes for derivation purpose. So pure bending moment is when the beam is subjected only to bending moment, there the shear force will be 0. Such type of loading is called as constant bending moment. The next standard case we are going to study is simply supported beam subjected to UDL. Till now, whatever beams we have studied, those beams were cantilever beams. This is the first time we are going to study simply supported beam, and it is subjected to uniformly distributed load. Here you can see that there is a beam of length L and it is subjected to a uniformly distributed load of load intensity W. Now here there are two supports. This is support at A. Okay, instead of representing a hinge support or a roller support, directly we can represent it in the form of reaction also. Okay, this reaction I have written it WL by 2, but initially it will be unknown. And here also you may have hinge support or roller support, and because of that support there is a reaction in vertically upward direction. And that reaction initially is unknown, we need to calculate this reaction. Okay, till now whatever cantilever beam we have considered, there was support at left end but there wasn't any support at right end, and we considered only a right section of the beam where there was no reaction. But if you consider this beam, simply supported beam, there is reaction at left end also and there is reaction at the right end also. If I take section XX here or if I take section XX here, there will be a reaction force that we need to consider. Either if you come from right side or if you come from left side, you need to consider the reaction force. So our first step is to calculate the reaction force, that is RA and RB. For that we will be using a sign convention, that is whatever the forces are acting in upward direction, we'll take them positive. If the forces are upward, then we'll take positive. If the forces are in downward direction, we will take negative. These sign conventions are only for calculating reaction force. Okay, we all know that sign convention for drawing SFD and BMD are different, and sign convention for calculating reaction forces are completely different. Okay, usually what we do is upward force we take positive and downward force we take negative. Okay, the first thing you need to understand here for calculating reaction force is what is the load acting because of UDL. UDL is having an intensity of W. We need to convert this UDL into point load. For that, what we do is we multiply this load intensity with length, that is nothing but area of rectangle. This you can represent it in the form of rectangle also. Okay, so area of rectangle is nothing but height, which is nothing but load intensity W, into length, that is L, and this will be converted into point load, that is WL, and this load will be acting exactly at the center or centroid of this rectangle, that is L by 2 from left hand and L by 2 from right hand. So after converting point load, this is the load we are getting. Now for calculating reaction force, see, there are no horizontal forces, so summation of Fx we cannot use it. Directly you can start with summation of Fy, because for static equation we are having summation of Fx equal to 0, summation of Fy equal to 0, and summation of movement about any point, it may be point A, point B, or here also you can take point C, will be equal to 0. Only then the beam will be in stationary condition. Otherwise, if it is in unequilibrium condition, it will move either up and down or either left or right. I'm not talking about bending, directly moving the beam. Okay, since it is in equilibrium condition, I can take summation of Fy equal to 0 because there are only vertical forces. This reaction RA and RB are in upward direction, so I'll take them positive, plus RA plus RB, and this applied force is in downward direction, so I'll take it as minus WL. Here I'm taking it as minus WL. This minus WL, summation of these forces will be equal to 0. Minus WL, I'll take it to the right side, so it will become plus WL. So RA plus RB, I'll get it as equal to WL. Let me call this as equation 1. I have to find what is RA and I have to find what is RB. Then summation of Fx I cannot use, summation of Fy is over, I am getting one equation. Then I can use summation of moment equal to 0. You can take summation of moment about A equal to 0 or about B equal to 0. I am comfortable in taking summation of moment with respect to left hand, that is point A equal to 0. Now while taking summation of moment about A equal to 0, what I will do is, moment if it is giving me clockwise rotation with respect to this point A, then I'll take positive. If the moment is giving me anti-clockwise rotation with respect to point A, then I'll take it as negative. These sign conventions are only used for calculating the unknown reaction. Again I'm telling, sign convention for drawing SFD and BMD are different. We have already discussed them. Okay, so moment, summation of moment about point A, I'll take it as positive. I'll come from right side. From this side I'm going to come. There is a reaction force, and that is RB. Moment is force into perpendicular distance. RB and perpendicular distance from this RB to this A is L. Okay, and this is giving me anti-clockwise movement with respect to point A. So I'll take it as negative. Minus RB into L. So it is minus RB into L. Then there is one more force at the right side of this cross section, that is WL. WL is the force and perpendicular distance is L by 2. this force will give me a clockwise moment with respect to point A. So I'll take it as positive. So it is force is WL into perpendicular distance is L by 2. Okay, there is one more force, that is RA, but the perpendicular distance is 0 between point A and this force, so it will become 0. So summation of moment, that is WL into L by 2 minus RB into L equal to 0. This minus RB into L, I'll send it to the right side of the equation, so it will become plus. So this WL into L will become WL square by 2 is equal to RB into L. This L will get cancelled and this square will get cancelled. So RB is equal to WL by 2. Okay. Then once you get RB, you can substitute this value of RB into this equation number 1. Then RA will be WL minus RB, that is WL minus WL by 2. From that you will get RA as WL by 2. Now one thing you need to notice here is RB is WL by 2 and RA is also WL by 2. The applied force was WL and this WL is getting split into WL by 2, half of WL, and here also we are getting half of WL. This is happening because the load is symmetric, that is the load is applied exactly at the center. Okay, when you apply the load exactly at the center, not necessary, but if the loading is symmetric, that in the sense right hand side also it is same type of loading is there and left hand side also same type of loading is there. That means look here, this load is exactly at the center. If you look at the left hand side, length is L by 2 and there is one reaction. Okay, then right side of this load there is again distance is L by 2 and there is only one reaction, that is RB. That means it is symmetric about central axis. Then directly you can consider this force to be split into two halves. One half will go to this reaction and other half will go to this reaction. This you can use as a common sense, otherwise you can directly calculate, but for your examination point of view we need to calculate the reactions using this method. Once I get RA and RB, I am going to write it here. RA is WL by 2 and also RB is WL by 2. See here, I am getting the positive value, that means force will be obviously acting upward, which we have assumed in initial assumption. By mistake if I get RB as minus, that means instead of force acting in upward direction, it will be acting in downward direction. Whatever assumption we had taken in upward direction, we need to consider it in downward direction if we get it as minus, but since both are positive, both will be acting in upward direction. Now what we are going to do is, again we are going to plot a graph of, once we get the reaction force, then we are going to plot a graph of SFD and BMD. Again for plotting that graph we are going to follow the same method, that is take a cut section XX at a distance X from this end, from the end B. You can take wherever you want. If you want, you can take section at this end also and you can consider only left portion, but I am comfortable in taking the section XX and considering the right hand side portion. I'm going to represent it here. Okay, when I represent it here, you can see that the length of the beam is X, and what are the load acting? There is a UDL having a load intensity of W. Okay, load intensity is W, and when I convert this load intensity W into a point load, it is converted by multiplying this load intensity with the length of the beam, that is W into L. When I multiply them, it will become W into X, and it will be acting exactly at the center, that is X by 2 from this end and X by 2 from this end. Apart from this UDL, there is one more load, that is reaction, which we have calculated here, that is WL by 2. That itself I am representing here. So if we take this section, there are two forces acting at the right hand side. One is WX in downward direction and reaction WL by 2, which is acting in upward direction. With this information, I can generate shear force equation and bending moment equation. First we'll consider shear force at this section XX. To get shear force at section XX, I need to consider summation of all the forces at the right of this section or left of this section. There are no forces in left of the section, so I'll take summation of forces in the right hand side of the section. Now for this you need to use sign conventions of shear force diagram. Okay, when we come from right side, if the force is downward we take it positive, if the force is upward we take it as negative. You can see I am coming from this end, there is a reaction which is acting upward and it is right to this section. Upward force will take it as negative, that is minus WL by 2, and then there is one more shear force, that is Wx, which is downward, which is acting downward, so I am going to take it as plus Wx. Okay, now in this section only variable which is going to change is x. We all know x is 0 at the extreme right end, then x is equal to length at the extreme left end. Okay, first will in this equation, since x is variable, look at the power of the x. Maximum power is 1, that means the variation is linear or straight line. Okay, so when I am joining the curve of shear force diagram, I am going to join it with straight line. Okay, then in this equation, if I put x equal to 0 in this equation, then shear force will become minus WL by 2, as it is here it will be 0, so remaining part is minus WL by 2. Next, again in this above equation, if I put x equal to L by 2 in the sense this is x equal to 0 and exactly at the center of the beam length will be L by 2, so x equal to L by 2 is center of the beam. I'm putting x equal to L by 2, then shear force will become this minus WL by 2 as it is plus W into, instead of x I am going to substitute it as L by 2. When I add these two, this will get cancelled and remaining is 0. That means shear force at center is 0. Look here, shear force at x equal to 0 is some value minus WL by 2, at center it is 0. Then when I put x equal to L in this equation, then shear force will become minus WL by 2 as it is, minus WL by 2 plus, instead of x I am putting L, so it will become W into L. When I add these two, I'll get it as positive WL by 2. Now look here, the line which I am going to join is linear. At x equal to 0 value is minus WL by 2, at x equal to L by 2 exactly at the center value is 0, then at the x equal to L it is WL by 2. Okay, this I am going to plot it in the graph. Here you can see when x equal to 0, this is a 0 shear force line, and when x equal to 0 the value is minus WL by 2, so I am taking it in downward direction. Some value I am giving for this, W into L by 2, which is some value, so I am taking it downward. Okay, then when x equal to L by 2 exactly at the center, the value is 0, so this 0 and this line I am joining it by straight line because I have got the equation as linear. Then when x equal to L, that is at this extreme end, the value is plus WL by 2. Okay, from here I am extending the line and I am joining it here, so it is, the value is plus WL by 2, and the line used for joining this is linear. This is about shear force diagram. Then we'll move on to bending moment diagram. Okay, for drawing bending moment diagram, we know that bending moment is nothing but force into perpendicular distance. Consider this section xx, and if I want to derive bending moment equation, I have to add all the bending moment at the right side of this section. There are two forces, one is this one and this is the other force, that means there will be two bending moment that I am going to represent here. Bending moment at x-axis is equal to, come from right. Okay, there is a force WL by 2 and perpendicular distance between the section and the force is x. So this force is trying to lift the beam upward. When it lifts the beam upward, then the sign convention is positive, so it is plus WL by 2 into x. Here I am representing it plus WL by 2 into x. Then again there is one more force which is Wx at a distance of x by 2. But if you look at this direction, this force will try to bend the beam in downward direction like this. Okay, it will bend the beam in downward direction. When it is bending the beam in downward direction, the sign convention which we use is negative. So I'm representing it as negative minus, and force is Wx into perpendicular distance is x by 2. Wx into x by 2. This I can further write it as bending moment equal to Wlx by 2 minus Wx into x is Wx square by 2. Here variable is x. Here the power is 1, but here the maximum power is 2. We need to consider maximum power, that is 2, which represents parabolic variation. So I am going to join a parabolic using a parabolic curve. Okay, then look at the condition. When in this above equation x is equal to 0, bending moment will become 0 into anything is 0 minus 0 into anything is 0. So at x equal to 0, bending moment is 0. Then at x equal to L by 2, that is center of the beam, put here L by 2, so it will become WL into L by 2 will become WL square by 4. Okay, so it will become WL square by 4 minus WX square by 2. Instead of x you put L by 2, so it will become WL square by 4 into 2 will become 8, because L by 2 whole square, it will become L square by 4. 4 into 2 will become 8, so it is WL square by 8. When I look at this, if I take LCM, it will be 8. Okay, so here I can multiply by 2 because 4 is there in denominator, and if I add them, it will become WL square by 8. So center value is WL square by 8. Then at x equal to L, okay, at x equal to L, the bending moment can be taken as, in this equation substitute x equal to L, it will become WL into L, which will become WL square by 2 minus W into, instead of x put it as L, you will get WL square by 2. WL square by 2 minus WL square by 2 will become 0. So at this point x equal to 0, the bending moment is 0. At x equal to L, bending moment is 0. And at the center it is WL square by 8, which is some positive value. Bending moment is positive, so I am taking it above this 0 line. I am taking the bending moment curve above the 0 line, and you can see here I have joined it using a parabolic curve, and it is maximum at the center. The value is WL square by 8. Okay, now one more conclusion, important conclusion, which you need to understand here is, look at the curve. Okay, here you can see that the curve for shear force diagram is becoming 0 exactly at the center, and the curve for bending moment diagram is maximum at the center. From here we can draw the conclusion that which we are going to use for solving the problem. Whenever the bending shear force becomes 0, because this is a 0 line and this point shear force is 0, bending moment will be maximum. Remember this point. Whenever the shear force is 0, bending moment will be maximum. This point we are going to use to solve the problems. Okay, look at the variation again. Whenever the beam is subjected to UDL, the SFD is linear. Even for cantilever beam, the shear force diagram was linear. Okay, and BMD is parabolic. For both simply supported and even for cantilever beam, the variation for UDL was parabolic, and here maximum bending moment is at center, and the value is WL square by 8. If the beam fails because of any bending moment, it is going to fail exactly at the center. Okay, this is about today's class.